Hitting the gym consistently is not always going to give you the results that you want. The quantity of workouts that you do does not matter, but what does matter is the quality of each workout. And what it comes down to is how efficiently you're performing each rep with every exercise that you do. What's up everyone, David here. Got a new video for y'all today, but before we get into it, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you don't miss on any new videos, because remember, new videos on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, so don't miss out. Now today, we're gonna be talking about repetitions. Doesn't matter what exercise you're doing, whether it be a squat, a bench press, a deadlift, curl, tricep extension, doesn't matter. Every exercise you do, you're gonna be doing a handful of reps. Reps being short for repetitions. How many times are you repeating that same movement pattern? So many people will do a lot of reps thinking they're gonna be getting results, but it doesn't matter how many you're doing if you're not even doing them correctly. You could be doing a whole bunch, but you're not getting results. It's like running on a treadmill. You could be running for hours on end, but at the end of the day, you're not getting anywhere, all right? How much time you spend working out does not matter if the quality of that workout is not there, okay? You gotta push yourself, and how you push yourself will determine how hard those reps are, and that's exactly what we're gonna be talking about today. So let's put it this way. I'm pretty sure many of you at one point or another were a beginner to working out, or some of you watching this are currently beginners and you're getting started with your goal of, let's just say, building muscle, building strength, all right? You want the goal of building up that physique. You're training for aesthetics, which is perfectly fine, but how exactly are we gonna get there? A lot of it comes down to the reps that you're doing with each exercise. Too many times I see a lot of beginners, they're doing the right exercises. Their form is correct. Let's just say it's a leg day. They're doing their squats, their RDLs, their hamstring curls, their leg extensions. Everything is perfect, but how hard they're pushing themselves with the repetitions is not gonna get them anywhere. You could be doing so many reps. You could be doing sets of 10, sets of 15, sets of 20. You could be doing up to 20 sets of 8 to 12 reps. All right, that's good and well. Yeah, you're spending a lot of time in the gym. But if you're not pushing yourself the way you're supposed to, if you're not making each rep count, if each rep is not of quality standards, then you're not gonna be getting the results that you want. Now, we wanna think about it. What exactly makes a rep good? What is it that we're looking for? How hard do we push with each rep? How should each rep feel? All those little things answered will help you get the results that you want. So let's start off with 4 big topics when it comes to repetitions that I feel that if you take all 4 of these into account, you'll get results. We're talking about how many repetitions, how heavy each repetition should be, the range of motion, and the speed of each rep. So breaking it down, first one, how many repetitions do you need to see the results that you want? Now, there's a lot of research out there showing that there's different rep ranges that you can go about. Even if you go up to sets of 30 reps, you can still see results. On the flip side, you can go as little as sets of 5 and you'll still see results. But what exactly is causing these results? I just want to get one thing clear. When it comes to any exercise, no matter how many reps you're doing, you want to make sure you're pushing yourself. Right? Too many beginners, they don't understand the concept of getting outside of your comfort zone. They're not used to working out, so they're not used to that feeling of burning, the pain, the discomfort, the irritability in those muscles, because now you're pushing them past something that they're not usually accustomed to. When you're working out, it's gonna burn, it's going to hurt. That is perfectly fine. That's what's needed. That's essential for the results that you want to get, especially if your goal is to build muscle. But the thing is, many people, they can't push past that point, especially if you're new to working out, you're not used to it. The slightest bit of discomfort is already gonna cause you to stop. So let's just say you're on rep number 9 and it starts to burn just a little bit, and then rep number 10, okay, a little bit more, and you just completely stop. Okay, you shouldn't have stopped in the first place. Even though it started to burn just a little, there's plenty of more reps that you could have gone. Those reps towards the end of the sets that feel the most uncomfortable, those painful reps are the ones that are gonna get you results, okay? So the moment you feel a little bit of pain, a little discomfort, a little bit of burning, keep going. That's the start of the progress. That's the start of the results that you're gonna get. The first few reps where you don't feel anything, those aren't gonna get you anything. The moment you start feeling a little something, that's when you're finally gonna start, making some real gains. That's when you're actually gonna start seeing some progress. But too many people, they don't understand that and they stop immediately. Now, here's the thing though, how many reps is it gonna take you to get to that point? And that's what's gonna determine how much results you're gonna get. Regardless of how many repetitions that you're doing, whether it be a set of 30, whether it be a set of 5 reps, you want to push hard enough to the point where once you're done with your set, you could have done 1, maybe 2 more reps left afterwards. So if you were to do a set of 20 reps, by the time you're done with that 20th rep, and that's the end of your set, you could have done maybe a 21st and maybe a 22nd rep, but no more than that. Likewise, when you do a set of 5, once you're done with that 5th rep, leave enough left in the tank so that maybe you could have done a 6th rep, maybe you could have done a 7th, okay? That's how hard you should be pushing yourself. Too many times people stop at, let's just say, rep number 10, but it's obvious that they could have easily done at least another 5 reps. Why? Because they can't get in their head that they gotta push past that point of discomfort. So again, that's what's gonna determine it. Now, depending on what your goal is, that will also depend on how many reps you're doing. Typically, for athletes, whether it be for athletic reasons or just maybe the type of sport that they're in is a very strength-based sport, power and strength exercises, the rep range will be right around 1 to 5 reps. Now, for hypertrophy, which is, the muscle building, typically those type of sets will be 6 to 15 reps. And then for muscular endurance, it's going to be 15 plus reps. Regardless, all of those, the fact that you're contracting your muscle against resistance and the fact that you are going to be pushing yourself will still elicit some type of stimulus in the muscle. It's going to force it to grow and adapt. But if you want to stick within pure muscle building rep ranges, I would say stay within the 6 to 15 reps. Again, even 1 to 5 reps, you can still see results. And even with 15 plus, you can still see results. Again, as long as at the end of your set, 1 to 2 reps left in the tank, you're still going to be pushing. But just a little side note, I want to point out, what's causing you to end your set? Is it the 1 or 2 reps that you could have done at the end, or the reason why you stop your set? Is it because you reach muscular failure, or are you reaching cardiovascular failure? Don't know? Test it out. Load up the bar, get a set of squats in. You tell me, the reason why you couldn't get another rep of squats, was it because your quads were burning so much, or was it because your heart felt like it's about to explode? If you want to see muscle growth, you want the muscle to fatigue first before your heart gives out. All right, sometimes it's your cardio that's holding you back. That's why it's important. Cardio, it's not always just for fat loss. It's just for overall heart and lung function. So you always want to reach muscular failure over cardiovascular failure. Never let your heart rate, your breathing, can't get enough breaths in, your heart is racing. Never let that be the reason why you can't get more reps in. Let the burning sensation dictate when you're going to stop your sets. Now, second point, how heavy do we need to go for each set, or I should say for each rep? Well, we already dictated what are the rep ranges for each type of goal you may have, whether it be about power, strength, hypertrophy, or muscular endurance. Your weight is going to dictate that. Obviously, the more reps you're going to do, the less weight, and then vice versa. The less reps you do, the more weight. But what you do want to take into account is you obviously want to go heavy enough to actually feel a point of discomfort. You actually want to go heavy enough so you can actually push yourself. If you're only doing sets of 8, you obviously want to pick a weight that's heavy enough for you to get 8. You don't want to go a lightweight and then do 8 reps and still see that you could have done more. Okay, let's go a little bit heavier so that way that set of 8 will actually feel difficult and I could push myself to the point where once I'm done, I would have struggled to get 1 or 2 more reps left in the tank. And many beginners, they may not know about this. They don't know how heavy they're supposed to go. And maybe sometimes it's just that they're scared to go heavy. Maybe because, they're not too acquainted with the exercise. Maybe they don't know the proper form. Things like on a deadlift, they're worried about maybe their form being bad, rounding their back, whatever it may be. But you gotta understand, your body's gonna get stronger and stronger. As long as you're prioritizing that form and everything is lined up the way it should be, your body will get stronger. You can add more weight to the bar. As long as that form is still good, go for it. But you don't want to add too much weight where now you're sacrificing form to lift heavier. That should never be the case. If that happens, leads to injuries, you strain a muscle, something pops, something tears, something gets sprained. That's just, don't ego lift. There's a fine line between lifting heavier to see more results and going overboard to the point where now you're just ego lifting and the injury is just bound to happen. So make sure your form is still there. Load up the bar heavy enough so that you can still push hard within whatever desired number of reps that you want. Push to the point where 1 or 2 reps could be done at the end of that set. Now, I want to make something very clear though. For those of you who have the goal of building muscle, again, building muscle, the looks, the amount of weight you use for that is going to be very different in your approach to compared if you're someone who's training for strength. Typically, powerlifters, strength athletes, they're concerned with how much weight is on the bar. So if you look at the workout program, they have a set rep range, but they also have a set weight that they have to lift. So when I was doing powerlifting, I said, okay, my goal is to build up my squat. How much weight can I load up on the bar? I would say today I have a set of 5 at 335 pounds. Okay, but if you're a bodybuilder or if you're someone who's training for looks, building the muscle, don't be overly concerned about how much weight that you're lifting. What I mean by that is don't be so concerned about the specific amount of weight that you're loading on the bar. Don't say you're gonna be doing sets of 10 and it has to be at this much weight exactly. I'm gonna do sets of 10 with 225. I'm gonna do sets of 6 with 315. No, if your goal is to build up the physique, your goal is not to fixate on how much weight is on the bar. Your goal is to lift a weight that gives you enough of a challenge to hit the desired rep ranges. For strength athletes, their priority is how much weight is specifically loaded on the bar, and it's a specific number. For bodybuilding or anyone training for looks, building muscle, their goal is just to load up enough of a weight to give you enough of a challenge for whatever desired amount of reps you want. Too many times I've had clients in the past where their goal is to build muscle because they want to get the broader shoulders, the bigger chest, the wider back. It's like, how much weight should I load on the bar? I don't know. Just load it up heavy enough to where you have a challenge between 8 to 12 rep range. I want you to fail within those rep ranges. It's like, okay, so I did 45-pound dumbbells this week. Should I do 50 pounds next week? I don't know. How are you gonna feel next week? Sometimes they say, oh man, but last week I was able to lift this much, but this week I'm not able to lift that much. That's okay. That's okay. Your goal is not to lift a certain amount. Your goal is to feel that muscle working. I remember one time I had a client, we were doing shoulder presses. Last week, they were doing the 50-pound dumbbells, but then the following week when I was training them, they were struggling with the 50 to get their sets of 8. I said, okay, let's go down to the 40s. It's like, no, but last week I did 50s. That doesn't matter. Is your goal to improve your shoulder press or is your goal to build up your shoulders? Because if your goal is to build up your shoulders, then you just need to pick a weight that gives you enough of a challenge to contract against, all right? You're not a power lifter, you're not a strength athlete. We're not worried about how much more we can lift. We're worried about choosing the right exercises and the right amount of resistance to push against to build up that shoulders, to get broader shoulders, working the front delt a little bit more. So take that into account. Is your goal to build muscle or is your goal to lift heavier? That's gonna dictate not only how many repetitions you're doing, but how heavy you should go for each one. Next one, range of motion. When it comes to the quality of your reps for any given exercise, this is going to be important. In a perfect world, in the right setting, full range of motion with every exercise is going to be king. Okay, I cannot emphasize that enough. Doesn't matter what exercise you're doing. Go all the way down, get a good stretch in the muscle, and then go all the way up and contract it. Full ranges of motion. The higher the range of motion, the more the muscle has to lengthen against, and the more the muscle has to contract against, which could lead to more muscle growth. There's gonna be times where you're very limited on the range of motion. It could be either because of fatigue or because of the equipment that you're using. Now, for the fatigue reason, let's just take laterals, for example. You could be going all the way up and down. All right, but as you start fatiguing, it's getting harder and harder to lift those arms up as high. Okay, at this point, what are we doing? Now we're working on partials. That can work as well. As much as you want to emphasize the full range of motion, you can't do it for the entirety of the set. Maybe you can do a good handful amount of full range of motion, but now you just failed at this point. Okay, but what we can do is continue and prolong the set by getting a couple more just to burn out the last bit of the shoulders up to here. That is perfectly fine right there. Partials have a great time and place for every workout, but they shouldn't be the priority. You shouldn't always be doing your laterals just like this, because if you only ever do them like this, that means you're going too heavy. Go ahead and go light. Get as many as you can all the way up, and then as you start fatiguing, you just naturally can't lift your arms up. That is perfectly fine. Now, naturally, there's gonna be some pieces of equipment where you just can't go up any higher or you can't increase the range of motion. A good thing I like to say is think of it like bent over rows. When you're doing a bent over row, the bar comes up to your waist, but you can't pull any higher. Why is that? Because the bar is obviously gonna be hitting your waistline right here. But what you can do is switch over to a different exercise, like let's just say a chest supported row, and now you can pull your arms up higher because now you have dumbbells in your hand, and now there's nothing in between to touch your stomach. So what otherwise would have been your arms going right here for a bent over row, but the fact that now you're using dumbbells, there's nothing in the way for you to go even further back. So you see, little things like that, manipulating the equipment, that's gonna help you increase the range of motion. The higher range of motion you have, the more the muscle has to lengthen and contract against, the more results that you could be seeing. And lastly, we have tempo. The speed of the repetition matters. How many times have you ever gone to the gym and you've either seen this happen or you are someone that does it? Bouncing the bar off your chest on a bench press, bouncing out of the hole on a squat, fast on the way down on deadlift, bar bounces off the ground, boom, back up. No. The part of the motion where you're stretching out the muscle, that right there is what you call the eccentric, the lengthening of the muscle. And typically it's the part on the way down of any given exercise. So I'm on a curl, it's on the way down. On a tricep extension is when you're laying the weight back up. The part where you're stretching the muscle out, that's gonna be essential. Too many people overlook that portion. But if we were to take our time, go slow and control with the eccentrics, boom, more gains. You will see a lot better results if you start prioritizing the eccentric as much as you prioritize the contraction. A lot of people think that the contraction is the only part that builds the muscle, but realistically, what do we have to do before we contract? We have to elongate. We got to stretch out that muscle. And if we can do it in a nice, slow, controlled manner, rather than just bouncing the bar off our chest, we're going to be seeing even more growth. And to take things even further, what we can do on top of those slow eccentrics, we can even add pauses. So we're on a bench press, slow on the way down, pause on your chest, and then back up. Squat, slow on the way down, pause at the bottom, boom, back up. Little things like that are gonna add to your workout. Instead of just relying on bouncing the bar off your chest on a bench press, bouncing out of the hole on the squat, bouncing the bar off the ground when you're doing your RDLs or your deadlifts. Again, you should be able to control the weight with the speed that your muscle is lengthening and contracting against. You shouldn't be relying on how fast you're banging the weights up and down the ground or off your own body like that. You do more of the work. Don't be relying on this. If you have to rely on bouncing like that and so much, that's probably a good sign that you're lifting a little too heavy. Lighten it up and go ahead and go nice and controlled. That's gonna lead to more results. So there you have it, everyone. That is just a simple way of explaining the quality of reps and how important it is. You could be spending hours on end at the gym, but if you're not actually making those reps of every exercise count, then you're pretty much just wasting your time. I'd rather take a quick 45-minute workout with a select few exercises, but make sure each rep of every set of every exercise is a good top-tier standard, good quality, full range of motion, really contracting, really feeling the burn in those muscles. I'd rather take that over spending 3 hours at the gym, but half of those sets have gone to waste because I wasn't actually pushing myself and making each rep count the way they should. Again, it's a good way to save time, and it's an even faster way to see the results that you want. So again, just take all those things into account. How many repetitions should be done with every set? How heavy should you be going? How important the range of motion is, and how fast each rep should be. You take those 4 things into account and you prioritize all 4 and you make these changes, believe me, you're gonna be seeing even more results when it comes to building muscle, but you actually gotta put in the effort. Comment down below if this video was helpful, and also comment down below any other tips you have to really make the reps count, because again, it's not the quantity that matters, it's the quality. But if you can have both, perfect. Go ahead and comment down below any other video suggestions you'd like to see me do, whether it be about mindset, motivation, nutrition, diets, workouts, programs, whatever it is, comment down below. I'd be more than happy to help y'all out. Be sure to subscribe not just to my channel, but my girlfriend's channel, and our couple's channel, so you miss out on any new videos. Because remember, new videos on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, so don't miss out. And then Instagram and TikTok, same thing. Be sure to follow me on my accounts, girlfriend's accounts, couple's accounts. I put all the links down in the description below. With that being said, I'll catch y'all next time.